Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're taking a really fascinating look inside Anthropic's actual internal engineering practices, and we're going to transform that into a clear, totally actionable guide just for you. We are breaking down exactly how to take that daily, incredibly repetitive AI prompting and turn it into a durable, compounding business asset. Okay, let's dive into this.
So be honest with yourself for a second. How much time does your team actually spend treating AI coding agents like complete amnesiacs? I mean, every single morning, right? You sit down, you paste in the exact same boilerplate context, and then you basically babysit the model through the same basic guardrails all over again. It is incredibly frustrating, it's inefficient, and honestly, it's just broken. But, it doesn't have to be this way.
Just look at the massive difference in approach here. On one side, we've got what we call the sticky note method. You know, the one, those ephemeral, text-based daily prompts that literally just disappear the second you close your laptop. But on the other side, we have what Anthropic calls a skill. This is a durable asset. It's packaged, it's reusable, it's version controlled, and most importantly, it's shared across your entire team. We're talking about moving away from these fragile, easily lost markdown files into a truly robust solution where you package that knowledge exactly once. Section 1. A skill is a folder, the core paradigm shift. Now, to make this paradigm shift actually work, we've kind of got to let go of obsessing over the syntax of clever prompting, right? We need to start thinking about the actual structure of asset building. See, in the Anthropic model, a skill isn't just a basic text file, it is an entire folder. And inside that folder, you got instructions, reference documents, runnable scripts, templates, data, and even session-specific hooks. This definitional correction, it honestly changes absolutely everything. A skill becomes this dedicated container for how your organization actually does a specific thing. It's completely bundled with all your internal tribal knowledge and those absolutely critical guardrails. Moving into Section 2, compounding your business assets. So while this whole shift might sound super technical at first glance, it is ultimately a massive business story for whoever actually holds the budget. Just think about these 3 core business benefits. Number 1, consistent output. You get the exact same result whether a seasoned senior engineer or a brand new hire triggers the agent. Number 2 is compressed onboarding. Think about all that obscure knowledge just rotting away in some company wiki that nobody ever reads. Well, now it's applied automatically by the agent itself. And number 3, compounding knowledge. Your skill improves every single time it hits a weird edge case and somebody updates the folder. This is no longer a sunk cost, guys. It is a continuously appreciating asset. And to prove just how seriously Anthropic takes this compounding value, check out this staggering metric. A team can justify spending an entire engineer week making a single category of skill excellent. I mean, really, let that sink in for a second. Companies do not spend an entire engineer week writing a sticky note, right? No way. They spend that kind of time building serious infrastructure. Okay, so what do these skills actually look like in the wild? Well, the magic number here is 9. When Anthropic went ahead and cataloged their own internal skills library, they discovered that all their agent tasks clustered into exactly 9 types. And this number is incredibly useful, honestly, because you can use it right now as a quick gap analysis tool for your own team to figure out exactly what you might be missing. Let's highlight a few of the most crucial categories from that list of 9. You've got your library and API reference for all those fiddly internal tools. Then there's business process automation for things like, weekly recaps. You have code scaffolding to generate boilerplate with all your specific conventions already pre-wired. There's CI/CD and deployment for safely rolling out code, and of course, product verification. The spread here is just amazing. It goes all the way from simply writing code to safely running highly complex operational procedures. Section 3, anatomy of a perfect skill, the craft. Right, so now that we know what these folders actually are, how do we go about building them? Well, the lessons Anthropic learned about what separates a truly great skill from a totally useless one are, surprisingly, highly counterintuitive. Here is the subtlest but arguably most important lesson of the whole bunch. When you write a description for a human, you're usually just summarizing what the folder does, right? But when you write for a model, that description actually acts as a trigger definition. When an agent boots up, it scans these descriptions to figure out which skill to even use. So you literally have to use the actual slang your team uses. If your developers always say, babysit the PR, well, that exact phrase needs to be right there in the description, because if it isn't, the model is just never going to fire that skill. And then we have this absolute beauty, the Gotchas section. You absolutely must include this in your folder. It's basically institutional memory in its purest form. This is where you document all those sneaky traps the agents just keep falling into, like maybe you have a staging environment that silently fails but still returns a success code. The generic AI out of the box, it doesn't know that, but your Gotchas file definitely does. You're capturing this highly specific, non-obvious knowledge that really only exists because someone on your team got burned by it that one time. Next up, we really need to define the technical heart of this entire concept: context engineering. Instead of just dumping absolutely everything into one massive, unreadable prompt, context engineering uses a single root instruction file. And that file points out to deeper references, templates, and real code scripts. The key here is that the agent only pulls them in exactly when they're needed. By giving the agent actual scripts to work with, it can spend its compute deciding what to do, which is composition, instead of just wasting time trying to reconstruct basic boilerplate from scratch. Now, as you get more comfortable with this, you start to unlock some really advanced mechanics. First off, you can push the model right off its defaults, steering it far away from those generic AI outputs we've all seen. Second, you can add on-demand guardrails. This is actually how you make giving an agent real live access completely defensible. You can add a freeze mode that outright blocks destructive commands when it's touching production data. And third, this is cool, let it remember. If you give the agent an append-only log, it starts to act like a colleague who was actually in the trenches with you yesterday and knows exactly what happened. Section 4. Scaling without the bureaucracy. So if every single developer starts building these folders, how on earth do we manage it all without getting instantly bogged down by some slow central review committee? Well, let's trace this perfect bottom-up curation process. Step 1, an engineer just drops a brand new skill into a shared repo folder. Easy. Step 2, it naturally gains organic traction just because other engineers find it genuinely useful in their day-to-day. And then, step 3, only then does it graduate into an opt-in internal plugin marketplace. By doing it this way, you totally avoid creating those bloated do-everything monster skills, and you naturally manage your context costs as your overall library grows. Now, of course, we've got to be real here and impartially report Anthropic's candid warnings about all this. First, best practices here are still very much evolving. This is absolutely not a settled standard just yet. Second, checked-in skills do add real context cost to your model, so you can't just blindly hoard them. And third, if you overspecify your instructions, you're going to destroy the very adaptability that makes the AI useful in the first place. Building a library requires careful curation, guys, not just endless accumulation. Section 5. Start by catching mistakes. Okay, so with all of this information swirling around, where should you actually begin today? Well, Anthropic found that product verification is really the highest value, unglamorous middle ground. If you're only going to build one category of skill well today, build the one that actually tests that the work, works. Writing code is great and all, but having a skill that actively drives a headless browser to ensure your checkout flow didn't just break, that is what's going to move your output quality the most. Start right there, where the mistakes actually happen. I want to leave you all with this final, kind of provocative question to think about. Are you going to keep paying for AI that starts from zero every single morning? Or are you going to build an institutional capability that actually compounds over time? The teams that treat their AI workflows as appreciating assets are going to rapidly pull away from the ones who are still out there retyping the same instructions every day. It is definitely time to build your first folder, write down your very first gotcha, and let your AI actually start learning your business. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.